Good afternoon. Today I'm presenting my capstone proposal presentation where you'll be understanding and addressing school absenteeism in high school. This is presented by myself, Chanel Jackson, edld 600, to Ms. Ross, Southern University A&M College. Some of the key points that I'll be talking about is absenteeism equals missing 10% of school days. So when students miss 10% of the school, we consider that absent. If they miss more, then they become truant. When they're absent, it leads to academic decline and disengagement, and it's common in high school settings. So, what that means is if they're absent from school, the academics it goes down. And then when students they could become disengaged. When they come back to school, they're not interested in school anymore. They just don't want to learn. And it's very common in high school. As dean of high schools at my school, I see a lot of that this year as senior class sponsor. I've been teaching in a high school setting for 12 years, and truancy and absenteeism has been high, but at my school now it's an all-time high. Problem statement. Many high school students miss significant instructional time. Chronic absences disrupt learning and performance. Schools need to understand why students miss school. This weekend, we're going to start what's called seat time. A lot of my seniors have to have seat time, which means it's a law. It's a law now. If they miss so many days of school, the district has come up with something where they can make up the seat time because the law is if you miss so many days of seat time, you can fail just by missing seat time. So basically, what they're saying is if a child has an B or C, but they have 30 days of missed absence, they're trying to see how can that student have 30 absences and have a C, which I'll talk about, get back to that later, which you have some kids that can do that. Again, chronic absence disrupts learning and performance. It does. When students are absent, it messes up their behavior. When they come back, they're a totally different person. They're disengaged. And schools need to better understand why kids miss school. Significance of the study improves academic outcomes and graduation rates, builds stronger school culture, supports leadership efforts to increase student engagement. When kids come to school, their academic shows it. It helps with SBS scores. It helps with the graduation cohort. It makes the school culture run so smoothly and so much better when the kids are at school. Leadership is very important in the school system to help the kids to better, engage at school. Let them know that it's a welcoming place for them to be. Attendance equals achievement. If you're coming to school, the ultimate goal is for you to go through sixth, well, kindergarten through 12th grade and graduate. So some research questions. What are the main reasons high school students are absent? How does absenteeism affect academic performance? What strategies can improve student attendance? Absenteeism is one of the strongest predicators of academic failure and dropout rates. A lot of kids that are absent or become truant, they drop out of school. I've had maybe 3 parents within this week come drop their kids because they can't get them to come to school. And what happens if the child doesn't come to school, they lock up the parents. Students are absent due to illness. A lot of kids are sick and they miss school. A lot of kids have family issues. When I was in the classroom, a lot of my students didn't come to school because they were absent or late for school because they had to play. They had a big brother taking care of the house while mama went to work. So they had to be the man or the woman of the house when mama had to go to work and watch the little siblings. Lack of transportation. A lot of our kids don't have transportation to get to school. Buses, they're not in which reach of transportation. Some of them walk. Um, some of them have parents that just don't bring them to school. Low motivation or academic struggles. A lot of kids struggle academically. They don't come to school because they can't read. They just They're embarrassed and they just don't come. Bullying or poor school climate. A lot of kids get bullied because of what they wear, how they smell, that they don't have running water. Um, so they don't want to come to school. Mental health challenges. This is one of the biggest things that we're faced with now. Mental health is real and it's serious. A lot of kids come and they don't want to get the help that they're supposed to get. They don't take the medicine that they need to take. And so this is an effect on their academics. So the effects on academic performance, lower grades. If you don't come to school, you're going to perform low. You're going to get D's and F's. You're not going to perform high on the state test. A lot of kids that don't come to school are absent or truant. They don't take tests. Right now, we're getting ready to go into leap testing. We're doing our seniors first. The list is long because a lot of kids fail tests. They're not coming to school. They're not learning what they need to get the necessities to pass the test. Higher dropout risk rates, strategies to improve attendance builds positive morale. So it's very important that get the kids to come to school. Talk to them about, if they drop out of school, what can happen. Being honest with kids, just building a positive relationship with them. The kids want to be loved when they come to school. They do. They might act out, but they just want to be loved. They need their love. And just communicating early with the parents and the family. If you communicate with the parents and tell them the help that they can get, provide a mentor and just supporting the family to let them know whatever they need, you're there to support them with any community resources that they may can get. The review of literature. Kearney and Grass says students missing 10% of school fall behind in reading and math. That is very huge and that is very major. Falling behind in reading and math. A lot of our kids do not have, they read on third grade levels, even kindergarten levels. Math, they don't know how to do it. These are two of the subjects that students struggle with. Gofford said absenteeism weakens student engagement and achievement. I talked about that earlier. When they're absent, they become disengaged and it affects their achievement in the classroom. Truancy law study. Strict penalties don't always improve attendance. Again, the laws keep getting stricter and it's still not improving anything. They're saying they're going to lock up their parents. They're going to do this when the kids don't come to school. Truancy still is at an all-time high, even with stricter penalties. Continuation of the review of literature, trends and gaps found. Most studies focus on younger students. Few examine post-pandemic attendance patterns, limit student voice or interviews in prior research. So most of the studies look at younger kids instead of older kids. Post-pandemic, when it was the pandemic, a lot of kids passed. So a lot of kids didn't learn a lot when it was the pandemic. So after the pandemic, they felt like they can just pass on to the next level and they had learning gaps. I think in research, they need to interview the kids, interview them and ask them what's going on, ask them why they're missing school or how are they disengaged in school. Because again, absenteeism is one of the strongest predicators of academic failure and dropout rates. The research gap, lack of focus on high school population, little data from Louisiana or Baton Rouge, need for student centered insights on attendance barriers. Again, they need to focus more on high school because the graduation rate is dropping. It's dropping. We don't have that much data from Louisiana or Baton Rouge. So we need to get like more research where people can interview the kids to get, the barriers that they're having or why they're not coming to school. Research design and methodology. The approach. Qualitative study, high school students. Participants will be high school students and staff. Data tools will be surveys and brief interviews. This study will use the qualitative correlation research design. A correlation design is appropriate because the goal is to explore whether certain factors, such as school climate, parental involvement, student motivation, and transportation challenges, are related to absenteeism and truancy. This is very important. It plays a major factor. Research design and methodology continued. The data analysis, thematic coding of responses. The focus areas will be motivation, family, transportation, and mental health. The goal is to identify actionable strategies to reduce absenteeism. So you're going to be looking at the different areas to try to see what research can we do so we can get kids to come to school. Can we reduce the kids coming to school? The ultimate goal is to get the kids to come to school and pass. Ethical considerations, voluntary participation, confidentiality, and anonymous data, no identifying student information shared. Of course, with this research, you have to get consent from the parents to make sure the child is able to do it and get student consent as well. Parent and guardians will receive a consent form explaining what the study will be about. This will show, to make sure that they sign up for it and the kids. This will be confidentiality. Students will be given a code. We cannot use kids' names because guess what? This has got to be confidential and anonymous. Kids' name will be stored on a securely password protected computers. And this is voluntary participation. To get this, kids do not have to participate if they don't want to be. They can choose not to or withdraw at any time. This survey contains general low risk questions. Students can skip any question that they may not want to answer. Because again, we're just trying to get information about how they feel. Anticipated findings, top causes, transportation, family duties, mental health, strong relationships, improve attendance, need for more flexible school support. Again, we talked about a lot of kids don't have ways to get to school. Mom and daddy might not have a car. Mom and daddy might be at work. There's no bus that's coming in that attendance zone. Family duties. I talked about students that I have taught. A lot of kids have to be big brother and sister while mom goes to work. Mental health is very serious. A lot of kids struggle with that. It's important to have strong relationships with your students. If you have a relationship with the children, they will come talk to you. You can find out what's going on. And that way we can better relate that with the truancy people or CWA, where they're able to go in the home and talk to the parents and see what's going on, make a home visit. Need for more flexible support, school support. The school is the body where the kids come. It's their safe haven. We're there to support them, whatever they may need and their family needs. Potential impact. Develop stronger attendance interventions, strengthen communication between home and school, inform leadership practices and policy changes. Interventions is very important. I talked about that. I work with CWA and truancy to better support the kids to see why they're not coming to school. What do they need? Do they need transportation to get there? Do they need clothes? Do they need water? Just finding out what they need, just having a better communication. And also talking to the CWA and truancy to talk to leadership. To talk to the state to kind of help with the laws to help these parents. Some of these parents can't make it on their own. They are actually struggling. They want their kids to come, but they don't want their kids to be bullied or doing school and different things like that. They struggle with water, washing clothes, smelling, different things. It's heartening, just disheartening to see things like that with kids. In conclusion, attendance is the foundation of learning. Understanding why students miss school is the key. It's the ultimate key. Findings can help improve student outcomes and student success. Every day counts. This is a very important. This I get emotional when I talk about this because I deal with this on a daily basis. This is something that is very important to me, and a lot of people overlook at kids. They look at them and these kids are kids. They take all their meanings and their actions out on when they come to school because they deal with a lot at home. So school is their safe haven. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.